Welcome back to part 2 where we continue the conversation. This younger generation, my experience of them is they're much more accepting, they're more loving, they're more compassionate. Yes, they're more special snowflakes for sure. They've been loved up, right? Like, you're my little darling and you're the best. They've got a lot of that, and that's probably what they'll get challenged on. But they've got great qualities as well. You know, Sam will say to me, bit harsh, Mum, and he's really got this very loving and accepting perspective, and yeah, it's fascinating, this sort of generational thing. So let's keep going, Usha, and let's talk about more about your and my career. Martin, are you happy to still be there and be our second guest on the couch?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Wonderful. So you guys meet and then you get married. You met in 2017. When did you get married?
2 years ago, 2023.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I didn't even see it coming.
Oh.
Yeah, we never spoke about marriage.
It was a formality.
Yeah, we never spoke about marriage, but more than a couple of people, when we said we were getting married, they were like, "Oh, I thought you were already married," because he kept referring to me as his wife.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
some people didn't even realize we weren't married.
Yes.
But yeah,
So you got married a couple of years ago. Now, you met in 2017, but not unlike Andy and myself, you were in the tail end of other situations.
Yes.
So when did the tail ends allow, of course, with our famous now meme everywhere of the fellow from America with his HR lady, when could Coldplay go on you in terms of it would be okay if the camera came
I
onto
think
you?
2019, 2020, around there.
Oh, no.
2017 we met, and then 2 years later my divorce got finalized.
Oh, yeah, but everything was well over after about 6 months.
Yeah.
So I just found out you've been married before.
Yes!
I never knew
Oh,
that before.
really?
No,
Yes, I
no.
was. I was there.
So you were born in Singapore.
Yep.
Then you live in Singapore, and then what brings you to Australia?
So I came here, I studied in Murdoch Uni. Yeah, so finished my diploma in Singapore, did my uni studies here, and then I went back to Singapore to work because I really wanted to go and do my master's, but my mum and dad's like, nope, there's no more money, come back now. You've got to earn and take care of us, just like the good Indian, child.
Good Indian child.
Yeah. So I went back, I worked in Singapore, I think for about 12 years or something, and then I came back here with my ex.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you, what do we say, immigrate or emigrate at that time? Emigrate is to come.
Immigrate.
Immigrate is to enter.
Immigrate from something.
You emigrated from Singapore and immigrated. Is that
And
what happened?
migrated to Australia. Yeah.
Is that what happened back then? 12 years ago.
I think so. Yeah, about 12 years ago. Yeah.
And you'd been here and studied here, so was Australia attractive to you for numerous reasons? Was it more your ex-husband? Like, what was it that made you go, right, Australia, here we come?
Well, I always liked my life in Australia. I feel like I was very sheltered in Singapore. Like, you guys had, you were talking about the 3-room houses and, the family of 4. We lived in a 2-room matchbox flat, and I grew up with 8 people in that flat. Yeah, so the ladies were in one room, the men were in one room, there were just 2 uncles. And then my mum, my sister, and I would sleep on the mattress on the lounge in my grandmother's house. Yeah, so that was my life growing up, because my dad had a place from his work, but my mom didn't realize she was going to have twins. And so when she realized she had twins, she had to move to my grandmother's house to be able to take care of the 2 of us at the same time while dad was at work, right?
Wow.
So, yeah, that's kind of the background.
Totally different.
Completely
Totally different.
Yeah. So when you talk about scarcity mindset, like I've come a long way just to, I think, create the abundance that I have in my life now in so many aspects, friendships, love, financials and all that sort of
There's
stuff.
been a lot of healing and progress from...
Yeah.
And probably, did you find that do you still find that you're very grateful for the abundance when there wasn't so much initially, particularly materially and stuff like that? Do you notice, my mum always says about me that I'm the most grateful of the 3 kids, which one of my strengths is my gratitude, right? I'm very grateful for my gratitude because it means I enjoy things a lot. But she said, when you were born, we had no money, right? And we really had no money. And then when my brother was born, my dad's business had become more successful. And by the time my sister was born, 8 years later, we had a reasonable amount of money. Life was more comfortable. I went on a school trip to Singapore, went to Mount Faber.
Right.
I remember that. It was lovely, Sentosa. And of course, that's when I was about 15. So Dad had money, the business was going well. But I said that because Mum always thinks I got gratitude from not being able to have stuff when I was little. Have you noticed that about yourself, that you notice things more from coming from not as much?
I think because, look, I practice gratitude a lot, like every day pretty much. I even have a WhatsApp gratitude group and we're sharing gratitudes to each other. I don't know if it comes from not having a lot. I think it just comes from my doggedness, from discovering how your mindset can grow your life and just going, gratitudes are going to help. About 120 days or something before I met Martin, I was writing gratitudes and I would make sure I'd have to. So, people would say, to say 10, do 10 gratitudes. But what I did was I would write until all my gratitudes filled up. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's everything from the day. And then I go, no, force yourself to think of some more. And then I'll have another 5 or 6 and then I'll fill up again, and then I'll go, there's nothing more. Like, no, you can think up of another 5 or 6 more. And I would fill the entire, big notebook.
Wonderful.
So that was kind of, I think it comes from the doggedness of realizing that mindset is everything and you can
Get live. Your mind can make a hell of heaven or a heaven of hell.
Yeah.
And Dale Carnegie. That thing, I think for listeners, it's a fantastic practice to try what you just said, Usha. When I've trained different times, EI and different things, I've got people to write 10 things they're grateful for, 20 things they're grateful for, but I've never tried it myself or never asked anyone else to do it. You write everything you can think of and then go again and then go again.
Yeah.
Because I think the revelation for those of us who realise how much there is to be grateful for, there's even more than you realise and more than you realise, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that mindset piece around, it's like Sam, I love Sam Harris Waking Up, right? Sam Harris, the philosopher and neuroscientist out of America, and he talks about this idea that not only we are creating our life with our consciousness, so we're not separate from it, we are it, we are this thing that's happening, and the only reason this room looks and sounds like it does, my voice, yourselves, is because it's been created by me in my it's quite like when you first get it, it's like, whoa, that's a bit much, isn't it? It's like when you look at, have you, with your mindfulness, have you delved a lot into the non-dual perspective and the freedom, man?
Yeah, interconnectedness, there's a lot of research on interconnectedness, and the loving kindness meditation practice, which you probably would have heard of in practice, is a good start to that, right? And then contemplation on interconnectedness, and and that could start from different ways. Like every time you pick something up, oh, how am I connected to this? What were the people who contributed to that?
Yes.
Right? And what was their toil? And just eating a piece of food, it's how much toil and sweat and backache or,
yes,
all of that. And then somebody had to make the air conditioning for the trucks. Forget the trucks. Somebody had to make the wheels and the engine and all of that. And then it just blows your mind
It does
away
blow your mind.
every time. And then when you meet somebody else and you are contemplating your interconnectedness, you came from stars. You and I were made of the same thing. And then you go, what? So that's a very nice contemplative practice along that line.
I remember doing a course many years ago, and at the end of the weekend you felt very at ease and connected with everyone in the room, and I said, I think heaven is when we feel connected to one another and hell is when we don't. And I think it ties into what we were talking about before. When I think about when I'm at my most stingy, it's a scarcity mindset. It's like, I don't have the energy to love you, I have to look after myself. I don't have the energy to be loving. There's a real confusion, like an ego-based confusion around how does that actually work? Because when you do metta, the loving kindness meditation, and Sam will get you to do it in the meditation, you feel it for someone, and he always gets you to start with someone that there's not a lot of complexity in the relationship, so the ego and noise and all that doesn't come in. And so I'll think of someone and I'll think, I wish you well, I wish you happiness. And it's such a lovely thing because, of course, you do it and then you'll say, how do you feel as you do that? And you feel the bliss of being that for someone. And, of course, where you're coming from is love. And, love, it's so funny that we have such a limited word for such an enormous concept,
Well,
isn't
the
it?
Greek have got different ones.
Haven't you? You've
Yeah,
got
the
like,
Greeks have
haven't
got-
you? Haven't your people?
What is
My
it, like
people-
4 or 6 types?
Yeah, 4 or 6, 4 or 5 or
Well,
6.
there's lots of types of love, yeah.
Yeah, which is
I love
appropriate,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So I was feeling one for you, but not the other. So the other would have been the husband love, but mine was more an admiration, connection-y kind of love. Do you happen to know the Greek ones? Agape?
There's agape, there's the filial, what's it? It's
Yeah,
I
like
don't
filial,
know off by hand,
yes.
but there's a filial love, more like a brotherly.
That's right.
Sisterly.
I can't on the spot.
Eros is
no.
the erotic love.
I need an AI.
Yes,
That's
Eros.
pure-
That's right.
yeah,
Eros.
that's
That's the
the-
one Usha won't let me do, but that's fine.
We can do all the others.
It's fine. The others are lovely. Plus, Andy's not into it anyway. But isn't it right? Like, as we talk about it on here, we talk about love so much on this podcast, and I use the word love, 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 but it is all love, but actually there should be different words for the different experience of selfless love, love for others. Like you were saying, this mug, I always use this mug because I hope to get sponsored by Mercedes mug. And it might be some way down the future, but we're becoming a more abundant mindset. So, but like you were saying, this mug, how many people were involved? It's like when you think you're an individual independent from others, you cannot live without interconnect, especially in the modern world.
Yeah.
I couldn't make this mug. Plus, where did that picture come from? There's a graphic designer somewhere.
Yeah,
And then the printing of it and the delivery of it. And it's at Danielle's house. So it's not even at my house. It is a great gratitude exercise to go, whoa, how many people are involved in this mug? And then the tea in it, whoa, that's a whole thing.
Right,
Tea.
exactly.
That's a whole world.
Yeah. We went to the mountains of Kerala where they have the tea plantations and watched all the people,
Literally,
just with a basket in their back.
groups of mostly women with baskets and scissors and just trimming each individual bush,
Oh, wow.
And the hedges looked
leaf by
immaculate.
leaf.
Martin was saying you're going to go to Japan and one of the days you're going to go and spend time with a monk and then do a tea ceremony. This wasn't a surprise, was it, for Usha?
We did
No.
talk about
Oh,
it. I
good,
forgot
good.
about it.
I was like, because
I was
Usha just looked at me, I'm like,
oh
my God.
We haven't finalized all the details yet.
No, but that's the plan.
haven't booked it in yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we found a place. We'll go. But that, yes, really looking forward to that.
When you described it to me, the reason I mentioned it is one, because it reminded me of tea and the magic of tea, but also that when you said it's going to be this whole day in this particular place with the tea ceremony and in this particular natural environment, and I thought, oh, the bliss of that, being able to be in what's happening, right? And it'll be a slow process through the... We were talking about on here, we didn't publish it because I realised, and very frustrating, I'm doing all this healing, it's making me more loving. So when I get critical, I then don't want to publish it. But I was talking about people being rude in cinemas, rude in concerts, stuff like that. And we were talking about, because Andy's more compassionate than me, and he said it's because everyone's so fast-paced now with the next thing, they can't stop to just sit there and enjoy a moment of silence or a musical thing that they're not involved with. Or so when you described that day, I thought, oh, that sounds so good, man.
I'll drop in my universal theory of love here, just which I did from 20 years ago or something.
Lovely.
But it's basically attention. So it's all about attention to me. All these different types of love are just forms of attention, and you can love this table, and you can love your job, and you can love these people, and you can love something that happened, and they're all just putting attention. So it's mindfulness eventually. It's like, what are you mindful of? You're loving those
Energy
things.
grows where attention flows, as we always say in coaching. Yeah.
So it's kind of that's my interconnectedness theory of love.
Well, it reminds me of this. When you say that, it reminds me of love is a verb, right? Which I've always loved, because people say, I love you, but that's about desire. It's not about the positive impact on the other person. Whereas love is a verb is, when you say attention, I literally think about it with Andy and I. So my love language is acts of service and his is quality time. I'm an impatient, fast-moving, completion mindset go, 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 go. He says I'm like a shark, you know, if I go backwards, I'll die. And I'm trying to work on that a lot, right? And he likes to tell me things about the world. He's a very clever cookie, interested in many, many things, and wants to tell me about them. And I realised recently when I don't give him attention to tell me that story, it's not love as a verb, right? Because he actually wants me, and I have to stop. And I'm getting a bit better at it. I stop and I go, what was that, honey? And then I go, don't move, to myself. Don't go and do another job. Look at him and listen to him. And of course, what I've learnt from doing it is I'm actually learning very interesting things. And I'm actually it's my anxiety that wants me to rush. But actually, if I stop and go, what was that? Then, yeah, I don't think it's a bad theory you've got about the attention, you know?
Yeah.
And when we listen to people in the role we do, I'll say to people, you know, and when I'm training people in listening, I go, when's the last time you were really listened to by someone? How rare is it?
Yep.
Like I know you guys would do it for one another. Andy and I do it for one another. We do it in our work. And I don't know if you have this happen, but sometimes I'll go, oh, how are you? And because they feel my interest,
Yep.
people will tell me so many things.
Yes.
And then they'll go, I shouldn't have told you all that.
I don't know why I'm telling you all this.
Yeah, do you get that? I don't know why I'm telling you all this. And then they'll go, that was actually a bit too much to tell you. And then sometimes I'll have to say to people, don't worry if you feel a bit funny after because you might feel like you said too much. I'm not going to tell anyone. And sometimes I've had people go, next time they see me, they go, whoop.
Because they've said too much.
Too much.
But attentional literacy is a big thing. And there's studies now, there's research now about attentional literacy. And as much as there's been a lot of talk about emotional intelligence and all of that, like, yes, we need to do that in schools more, but we really need to focus on attentional literacy more and more as well. And there are schools doing some of it with the mindfulness and all of that, but I think not enough.
Do you think that this social media world we've been talking about, this computer world we've been talking about, is having it become a worse of a problem?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There was I cannot remember this researcher's name now, but she was talking about how when we scroll, like usually in the past, when we are reading, we are learning something, we are focused on that one subject, right? So if you're only watching gym videos, it's okay, which was what used to happen before the reels came in more often than not.
Yes.
And then the reels came in, and then now you're looking at so many different topics in a short span of time. And she said when she studied the neural patterns of people like after this scrolling madness, right? Doom scrolling, as we say, they exhibited patterns of ADHD in their neural patterns. Yeah. I might not be saying it as eloquently as she did, right? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Well, we know that whole world has exploded.
Yeah.
And even I notice now, do you know when you have a feeling like it's the dopamine, I'm sure, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what will happen is I'll look at certain things before I go to bed. So I'll check maybe my Facebook, I'll do my Wordle, I might have a look at my email. And then I get this feeling like something else good is going to happen. I just haven't thought, what is it that I haven't looked at that's going to give me the hit I'm after? And I've realised it's actually an addiction reaction. It's kind of like wanting a cigarette. It's like, I know there's one more thing I need to look at, but I don't think there is anything. And then, I wanted that one more thing.
Yeah.
So I can throw in something I know here from the people who've, Tristan Harris talks about this. He was involved in early Facebook and other companies like that. And the attention capturing psychology is hyper intentional. It's super intentional.
Right.
Very deliberate. They were hacking. How do you capture someone's attention? Because they're driven by advertising models, and advertising models is all about capturing people's attention. And so they were optimizing on that, and they optimized everything that's going on. And then TikTok came along and totally upped the game with like these very short formats, because it's all research. It's all very, very intentional. And then, of course, everyone copied that model. And it's destroying our ability to focus.
Oh, wow.
I mean, a lot of people I know now say they can't even... I find it difficult to sit and read a whole book. I used to find it easy, but I think a lot of us find it really hard now.
Yeah.
It's because brain rot, right? It's brain... Everyone calls it brain rot. And that is a thing.
Yeah, it's with Sam. I noticed that because of his $35, because of his world he's growing up in, I make deliberate efforts to have him wait for things or have times in the car where he's not looking at anything or reading or anything because he has so little space. You know, we had so much time to be bored and have to come up with games. I literally created an architectural plan of a house in my backyard using some sticks my dad had to build something. Desperate times, man. But, you know, like I remember loving creating that house and I thought it was wonderful how I could walk between the rooms. But it was a desperate move of a child that had no entertainment and parents that go outside and figure something out, right? Whereas he has instant. And I've noticed for him to wait and not start fidgeting, he's only 11, but it's really, really hard for him. So I'm trying to say to him, there's certain things I'm going to have to help you learn because you're growing up in a time of instant, you know?
Yep.
Boredom.
Really tricky.
There's no such thing as boredom anymore, almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I say, look out the window. He goes, but that's boring. I go, exactly.
Yeah.
Just sit in the car. And he goes, I'll talk to you. And I go, nope. And he's like... And I go, just look out the window. He goes, what am I going to look at? I go, look how beautiful the world it is. It's so, I don't even put the radio on in the car. I'm just look at the world and so grateful and so beautiful the trees. He goes, oh, and I go, I remember my mum saying that when I was younger, just look at the trees. Oh, kill me now.
Yeah, the amount of people that I get from life coaching who say, oh, meditation, I can't do that. Give me some other practice.
That's right. I can't do it.
And then before I take them through like an intervention of sorts, I normally do a version of yoga nidra, which is relaxing all your simple body parts before you go through this process. And I'm thinking to myself, you literally just meditated. Yeah, and 5 minutes ago, you said, no, I can't do that for more than 10 seconds. Right?
I think because of the misunderstanding, right? Like if I look at mindfulness myself, mindful is just being here now and being in this moment, then this moment. I think because we were trained for such a long time that meditation is quieting our minds, which never stop. They never stop. That monkey mind, you know, I can't listen to my mind. I think the pressure to have that be quiet has people go, I can't do that. Yeah. Whereas, you know, one of my favourite meditations on Stefan Bodhi and on waking up is the rest and allow. And he goes, so now what I want you to do is not meditate. And your brain will say, sorry now, what is it you want me to do? And he'll say, it'll be difficult for you. I just want you to be with what is, not try and stop anything, not try and fabricate anything. And every time I do it, I realise just how much we're controlling all the time because actually the inputs from not controlling are phenomenally large. Like if I just sit here and be with what is, I can feel my body, my voice, the air, the fact you guys are here, the lights. It's a huge amount of information that we normally kind of gate, right, and control and go, don't look at that, focus on this. And when you rest and allow, it kind of is restful, but it's also actually overwhelming how many inputs we have. So when someone says, oh, look, thank you, Usha, wonderful, but I cannot meditate, I think because they think they have to become an unthinking, stable statue, and the noise of their mind is going, no, like Homer with the monkey, you know. Exactly. No, so I can't do that. And then, of course, you trick them, lovingly trick them and go, you just meditated.
Yes, that's what I do.
Do you know when we first met, thinking about Singapore, I don't know if you know this, Martin, but I was giving a talk at one of the Women in Leadership or Women in Mining, quite a big talk. And I think we met at the first one I'd ever done. And people were commenting on how good they thought the talk was. Wonderful. I meet Usha and we talked about it later and she said, I thought when you came on and spoke, finally we've got an acceptable level of quality. And I thought that's Singapore. Because, you know, when people work at different levels, and she and I have talked about it, we can take this out if you want to be more polite, Usha, but we've talked about the quality here often of this kind of thing isn't as high as globally. And in Singapore, the expectation of how hard you work, the quality you work, it's a totally different culture, right?
It is.
So, you know, I remember it distinctly when she said, yes, that's the right mark. I was like, well, everyone else thought I was quite exceeding that mark. And she's like, no, I come from a different place. And that was spot on what we're hoping for.
But I don't know, just the way you were, I just thought this woman is like, okay, she knows what she's talking about and I can be honest with her because you just have that about you.
Good.
Because you're so open and vulnerable. Like there's so few people who can be like you are. And I really hope you value that about yourself, because I love that about you. Like, that's my favorite part of Tam,
thank you.
amongst everything else, right? And I just knew, like, I can let my guard down. I can be honest with this person,
Yeah,
she'll get it. She
wonderful.
will get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you saying that. I love it. And I think that when I created this, so this podcast came from Ash McGrath watching me talk. When the Slido questions come up, if you don't have a podcast, you should. I thought, should I? And then I'd never thought of it. And then I thought, I think my job is to talk about what I'm learning and how I'm failing and how I'm succeeding, but the whole thing. And like I said to you, with the 51% confident, 49% nervous, the numbers are probably a bit harsh. I could give myself a little bit more credit, but there's so much of both going on, and I'm so aware of both. And I thought, I think that would be useful for people to hear someone really share an imperfect story and how they're learning and growing. Our last Friday 50-50, which hasn't come out yet, we ended up coaching me, and we literally go through the whole process, including me stomping my foot and going, shut up, Danielle, and not exactly, but and when we finished, I said, well, we're not putting that out. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh, we've done our first pod coach, because we talked about doing pod coach, but I'm the coachee.
Yeah.
And I coached me, she coached with me. Lockie, my actual self-leadership coach, coaches me, even though he wasn't in the room. His voice was in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate you saying that, because I think it really, when we talk about, the massive Google study on what makes the difference in teams, psychological safety. When you said, I can talk to this woman, that's, of course, who you were when you came onto that disc thing. And then you and I meet, and what a miracle. I'm really sorry about this, because it was nothing but inconvenient for you, I'm sure. But Usha said, we met, and I said, you're not interested in doing some work, are you? And because we were looking for a couple of subcontractors, I thought, this woman can't be available for subcontracting. And she said, what kind of thing is it? And I told you the story, and you said, that's exactly what I asked I wanted to do. I wanted to work with this group of people. I go, how perfect is that? And then the nightmare began.
Oh, it was lovely. It was good. I had enjoyed myself working.
Without, of course, mentioning the company, but what did you notice about meeting that group or working with them, or did it, I've never asked you about that, did it answer any of the questions you had, or did it extend your knowledge in any way? Or what were the themes you noticed from doing that work? For the listener, it was very difficult because of the style of program, the way the admin was working, the way we worked. It was a lot to manage. But in terms of when you were actually with people, what did you notice, and what do you think you got out of the process?
So how the reason why I said yes and what led to that yes was I, for some reason, had a few male coaching clients like a couple of years prior, and then they were suddenly getting a lot more male than female at one point. And then I said to myself, I really want to coach more men. And then you came along and I went, hey, we've got this group of men. Do you want to coach them? I'm like, it was not particularly the industry that I would have picked, but I was like, this is what I asked the universe for, and now it's delivered. I have to say yes, right? And I think what I was working out was, do I have the knowledge, the capacity, the skills? So, this self-doubt maybe there, going, should I be working with men? Do I know enough about their lives? I don't have their brain. Can I fully understand them if I'm not a man? And what really, I guess, eventuated from that was just seeing some dynamics in the room when I was there and when I was not there, or when Andy was there, right? And there's, at the end of the day, we still have that old brain in us, right? And with males, I find that there's this, who's the alpha dog? We're all trying to work out who the alpha dog is.
Yes.
And it happens even in women's settings, like who's the leader, or, there's this one dominant person, but then eventually it kind of evens out, right? So I watched that, I was very conscious about watching that play happen. And it was really interesting, because Andy was the one who was doing all the trainings first, and eventually I had to do it myself, and then talking to them individually versus a group, and the way they open up when there is more women in the group and when there's more men in the group, it's all so different, but it's all this very subconscious thing, and it's so subtle, but the fight for the alpha dog decreases somehow, and you can just you could just watch it happen, right? So that's been really fascinating, just watching that from a observational research perspective, if you will.
From an anthropologist kind of perspective.
Yeah. So that was very interesting. And I think other than that, it just reaffirmed that I do need to work with men a lot more in my work, and I do want to go on to specifically leaders as well in organizations. Have had a couple of wins there, but I think there is so much, like we do a profiling too, which I've done with you, identity.
Yes, it was fascinating.
Yeah.
And I learnt things from it. Say a bit more about the tool, but also the things I learnt from it, I hadn't learnt from any other tool.
Oh, yeah.
And they landed as correct, but surprising. So one of the things was that stood out to me was my difficulty in expressing myself or my discomfort in certain situations. And it's so true, but as a professional communicator, I'd never seen it spoken about before, or I felt quite seen by it, if that made sense, because as a part of my 50-50, I kind of feel 50% autistic as well, even though I communicate. So this other element of you actually find it hard to articulate. If we were in a social setting and I was saying hello to for the first time, I find that very difficult. But I can stand up in front of a room, a bit like a shy comedian or a depressed comedian who can't do basic comms, but then can go, hello.
Yeah.
That thing showed up in the things like that.
So if I remember correctly, you are high in exposition, and that is your desire to express yourself,
Yes.
right? And there are some people with lots of great ideas, but they don't have the desire to express themselves. And then there are others who do, right? So you're high in expression, but you're mid in sociability.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So I know people who are the reverse, and I know two people who are close to me who are the reverse. And for the life of me, for the longest time, I'd go, why are they even out? They don't say a word. They're not participating. They're just there. I don't even know if they're listening, but they always say yes to all the outings.
Because they're having a good time.
So they're high in sociability, but low in exposition.
Yes.
And you know people like this.
I do. I do. And it totally makes sense because they're having a good time quietly.
Yes.
But I will be more likely to talk, but I'm not as keen to have a good time socially just for the sake of being social.
Yes, because I think the best explanation for sociability, like the introvert extrovert piece anyway, is that, the extrovert starts with $1 in the bank and everybody they meet, they collect $1, whereas the introvert has lots of dollars and everybody they meet, they give out $1. When the dollars run out, time to go home, right?
That's right.
So, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me. I must be much actually more naturally introverted because the thought of going out and collecting money is unthinkable. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Right?
Who's getting money? Someone's getting money?
Yeah, people
This is
get
awesome.
We are both extroverts.
So you get money.
So we power up meeting people.
Oh.
Yeah. And Martin, when you said to him earlier about, his, I don't have used that word, but, he's quite visionary and he's thinking he can think lots and lots of years ahead.
Yes.
He's 95 out of 100 on that scale called conceptual thinking.
Wow.
So he will look at something and say, this is what is going to have to happen in 200 years. And people are like, what? Yeah, well, I'm only here for less than half that time. And in that time, I got to pay my bills. And, what is this guy talking with all this fluff?
I know.
So as a
I'm already
leader-
living with robots in my head. They're everywhere.
When you said the snake's going up the pole, I was like, this is not some sort of vague thought for you. You have seen the robot snake go up.
Yeah,
Yes.
But it's a hopeful thing. I think the thing, because I think it would be quite unusual to be visionary. You might know from the actual data, but I think the opportunity of that is for those of us that are more step by step. I don't know what's happening next. I had a coach, mentee, mentor I met with yesterday. She said, what's your plan for the year? And I go, what are you talking about? And she goes, your plan for this year. And I go, there is no plan for this year. And she goes, well, then the next 6 months, what are you thinking? And I go, I can sort of roughly tell you what might happen, but there's no plan. I heard years ago this thing, fuzzy visioning, and I've been hanging on like a limpet ever since. I'm a fuzzy visioner.
Yeah.
But you're going 200 years, we're with the robots. How do we get through that phase? That's why it's so exciting, because you can think like that, but then go, what do I need to do now? And because you've got the cleverness and the desire to create something, you can help us get there while the rest of us are going, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'll just scroll.
Yeah. So Martin's high in conceptual thinking, but he's also high in organization. So therefore, he can see the vision. He will still need people to build upon his ideas because he may not think around feasibility, hence why he's working 18 hours a day on $16,000 salary to give out something free, right? So he may not...
We're all very grateful.
Very grateful. So he may not have thought about the practicality or the feasibility of it, but he'll be able to organize his thinking to make his vision happen, which is what he did with Moodle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it unusual, that conceptual and organisation being together?
His is both exceptionally high. So I would say I haven't seen that many.
Unicornesque.
Yes.
It's just a word on that psychometric. There are many psychometric tests around that, and I've tried quite a few when I was running a company to understand what was going on. But I did find this one in particular was super helpful and accurate. Everybody said at least they would read the output and go, 95% of that is amazingly true. It's really accurate.
And that's what I want to use now more and more I do it now for all my coachees, but with the team building and leadership and emotional intelligence around leadership, because like you said, the world is going to be changing so drastically.
Yes.
And the leaders are going to be facing not just the fact of these younger generation questioning their authenticity, but that the whole time they've worked so hard is all going to be for nothing.
For nothing.
And they're going to be feeling like, oh my God, my whole world has been a lie. And everything that I've worked for has been to this point where I am going to be made redundant or my skills don't matter anymore.
No.
And there's going to be a lot of devastation in the world. So your work and my work, I think, is going to be so important now more than ever. So when I say team building, I don't want to just bring, people out and have a rah-rah times in the pub or, sort of let's fall on each other and catch each other type thing. But it has to have some sort of really deep and meaningful conversations around, okay, these are our strengths and this is what we're doing now. These are also how we can help each other out. But if the world changes, then this is also what we can rely on.
Yes.
What
are our strengths? I agree that particular psychometric I found, I think the thing I liked most about it was it commented on things nothing else ever had, and it saw things that I hadn't thought about for myself. And when I read it, I thought, that's right. Not, I already know this and it's getting confirmed. It was more, that's why that happens. Particularly around that exposition, sociability. It made me feel seen and it made me feel more relaxed about the odd bod that I am versus someone else, because I was like, that makes sense why I like this and I don't like that, or why I love this and I only bit like that.
Yeah, and when you look at it, it's just numbers on a page, and then it doesn't become this thing that, oh my God, I have to face myself and my demons anymore. No. It's just like, oh, look, it says 65. I do these 2-3 things, and then I could potentially move the dial. And then what are my goals now? And based on those goals, this is the dial that, an interesting one that came up for me was I am very high in organization, and my determination score was low. But when I first did the tool with my sister, because she's an expert at this stuff, and I worked with her on this, and she said to me, that's because you're organizing too much, just organize less. I'm like, what do you mean organize less? How can you say that? We need organization. And so she's like, Usha, just trust me. Just organize to a certain amount and then actually do the work and see if it makes a difference. And I started doing that, and my determination score went from 50 to 75. It took me 3 years, but I had to coach myself. I had to go, okay, I'm cleaning the kitchen now. You have to finish cleaning the kitchen.
Yes.
No matter how dirty it is, you started it, you better finish it, girl.
Got it.
Little things like that.
Yes.
And then you work on it. And it's so easy to do when you look at it that way. And I really think that it's such an easy way for people to just get a bit more awareness
Yes.
around, what's up.
Is it something that people can do privately? They could come to you if they were interested in doing it. So what's the best way? Say I'm someone off the street and I go, that sounds fascinating. I would like to do that myself or with my business or whatever else.
Yeah.
Could they contact you via LinkedIn? Like in terms of if they're listening to this, what would be the easiest way to find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn Usha Raman 8 at Usha Raman 8. I'd say it would be the easiest one. I'll look for, that's another way.
Are you Usha Raman 8 on LinkedIn?
Well, if you go at Usha Raman, there's so many Usha Ramans.
Yeah. At Usha Raman 8, you're going to show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show up.
And I want to throw in something here that, because I have been looking at this quite a lot. A lot of people talking about using AI for therapy, and I was even looking at it for coaching. But I've dropped the idea because I really feel like in this jobocalypse coming up, that the last thing you need is a bot helping you cope.
With the bots.
Yeah, and it's not even just. I mean, that's quite a basic thing, right? Having a bot trying to counsel you. But what Usha does is like that. We talked about this psychometric. That's just the starting point.
Yeah.
And then it takes years or months at least of constant discussions and interaction with an expert to help you overcome any demons you have or issues that you're having and to grow, as you would know as well. I fully believe that's a job that will always be best done by humans.
Oh, it's so great to hear. Because when we first met, very first met, Martin was researching AI as coaches and I was like, no.
Well, it was.
I would love to have an AI coach next to me, though.
Absolutely.
Like picking up the nuances.
That's right. Assisting.
Yeah. So
I would agree.
Yeah. With identity now, there is this platform that's still in testing where you could interview somebody and then the AI, so it's like a video and you're speaking on the video and there's this AI running in the background and it's picking out your emotions.
Oh, wow.
So there was this particular case where this gentleman was being interviewed for a job, and when the interviewer asked him, oh, why are you leaving your current job? He answered beautifully. The interviewer didn't pick anything up. The AI picked up anger. So in the second interview, he was asked, oh, is there anger around that particular subject? Because they knew they were being filmed and an AI was picking up the emotions, right? It was a very open project. And he said, well, yeah, because they were making a lot of us older fellas redundant. And yeah, I am angry, So I was like, wow, isn't that... Because it's picking up
micro.
Yeah.
Now, who's the author? He's written a number of books. Is it going to come to me? Fundamentally, Malcolm Gladwell, he wrote Blink, but it's not Blink I'm referring to. He talks about when they did research with FBI agents, police, people that think they can read someone and they're very good at it, they were very, very weak at it. As human beings, I think with the split-second nature of micro-expressions, human beings don't find it as easy, and I think that's why the AI was able to see this, like on the old show they used to have with Tim Roth, where they do people do discuss things split second and you don't pick it up. But there's something about, I will often have the experience when I'm coaching, someone will say something and I'll go, I don't know where this has come from, but blah, 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 right? And they'll go, you're right, because of blah, blah, blah. And I think, am I psychic? But I actually think now it's because of so many years of doing it, hearing what they're saying, and then I think the instinct is actually my professional instinct. I think, I'm not sure, because sometimes they'll go, where'd you get that from? I go, I don't know. And they go, but it's right. And I go, wonderful. Now what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So there's something about, the thing I think about the humanity of coaching is it's a bit like Sam Harris's hard problem of consciousness. There's something about the connection and love between two human beings that at this point anyway can't be replicated unless there's two human beings, two hearts, two guts, two brains. There's something magical that can happen between people. And that thing you said about creating local environments with communication and learning and growth, there's something that it is human to human, I believe, that's the only place we can try and make a difference in this big world of problem. Because if I'm nice to you, whereas I may have been rude before, if you and I have a conversation where we come to an agreement where we hadn't understood one another prior, that is the world, right? Just on a micro and then macro level.
And there's so many layers to it. Sorry, didn't say something?
Oh,
Go ahead.
just there's this responsibility for the quality of the connection with another person that is there. And if Usha says to one of her clients, I'd like you to think about or work on or do something and we'll see each other next Monday, there's a little bit of fear, like, but anxiety, like, I want to keep Usha happy. We're in this dynamic and a journey together, right? And you want to, but you don't have any responsibility to a bot. A bot tells you the same thing. It's just more content, basically, right? So it's very, very different. It's really important to keep the focus on it.
I think that there's so many layers of that, right? Because you were talking about attention before. And when we are with a coachee, our attention is just on that coachee. Like, I don't know, we probably feel the same way, like nothing else matters except this one human being. Like the house could be on fire.
Absolutely.
Right? And there's so much attention there. And then that our brain waves becoming, synchronized, our heartbeats, our breathing, and the interconnectedness is so much stronger. And, we may dismiss it as professional expertise, but I think it's way more than that. I think it's that we went for a drumming circle a couple of months ago, and we all started drumming, and I've never really drummed at all in my life. And the guy said, look, just keep going. One by one, you'll add in the beats that you need. And about 2.5 to 3 minutes was all it took before we were actually making a beautiful drumming rhythm. And we were all just synchronized in this circle full of strangers, right? And that's what the human connection.
Yeah, I think that's a great summary.
It's kind of allowing it to happen. It's almost it's a natural thing. We just allow it to happen, allow the connection to happen.
Yeah.
There's so much more you and I could talk about, Usha. I'd actually, with your permission, I'm going to ask you back because I feel like Martin and I, we had a good conversation with your very useful assistance. It felt full and complete. I feel like we've only just begun, but I think it might be 9:30 at night now. I'm not sure. So I just want to be aware of your time, my beloved's time's over there in the corner. And I think what we'll do is I feel like there's more we can talk about with mindfulness, love, the world, Australia versus Singapore. I'd love to know more about your background. I know you're writing, there's so much I want to ask you about, but I feel like it would be responsible for us to stop at this one now, and then can I invite you back and we'll have more of a conversation?
I love that. That would be amazing.
How cool. Yeah, I think we'll have a good time. So this has been really wonderful and I so appreciate it. And honestly, Martin, you've given me hope, and I know for sure we will have to have dinner because as soon as my husband hears this, he'll go, I want to talk to Martin more. And I really appreciate both of your time. You're both very busy and have wonderful lives, and it's been a real delight to have you here. So
same for me, and I'm sure.
Likewise.
Wonderful. Feelings mutual. How gorgeous.
We love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too. How nice. I feel like I know really quality people. It's really very exciting.
Because you're a quality person. Quality. What did they say? Game recognize game.
Game recognize game. That's perfect. That's gorgeous. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Like what you heard? Like and subscribe.